Hello, everyone. My name is Darcy.
And I'm Amari.
And this is Texas City Tells. On today's episode, we have Melissa Tortorici from the Texas City Independent School District. She's the Director of Communications, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the bond election coming up. So thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
And I'm going to let Ramari start it off.
Okay, so can you tell us what day the election is?
Yes, we have a bond election on the ballot for some capital improvements in Texas City ISD, and it is on the ballot for November the 8th.
Okay. So I know typically TCISD has elections in May. Is there a reason why you guys are going to be on the ballot for November instead?
Yes, well, of course, the earlier we can get information or have the election, then the earlier we can start capital improvements should it be improved. So we've got some things that we deem critical, and so we want to get started as quickly as we can if the voters allow that.
Excellent. And I know that you're going to be doing, you're going to be offering some sessions for the public to come and listen and ask questions. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and when are those?
Yes, we've got some public meetings set. There'll be one on October 10th at the Nessler Center at 6 o'clock, and then also on October 24th at the City of Lamarque, also at 6 o'clock. And the presentation will be the same. It'll be all on why there's a bond election, what's on the ballot, how it impacts tax rate, and that kind of stuff. And it's the same presentation both, so people can just come to whichever meeting is most convenient for them, and they can hear all the facts about the bond election.
Okay. So I know that there's two propositions. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess we'll start with Prop A.
Yes. Proposition A, we kind of are dubbing everything that kind of relates academically. So that is a new Lamarque High School. It's a new STEM robotics center, a new early childhood center, a new ag barn, renovations to Texas City High School that directly impacts career and technology labs, and also fine arts, and then safety and security district-wide. So that's Proposition A. Okay. And then we have Proposition B, which includes stadium renovations at Texas City High School Stadium, and then also a new stadium for Lamarque High School. And legally, you have to put athletic facilities on a different proposition. So that's why we have the two. So voters will be allowed to vote for or against Proposition A, for or against Proposition B. They can vote on both propositions.
Okay. I've seen a little bit of talk on social media, and a question that people have asked is, well, why can't both high schools use the same stadium?
Well, and we have been sharing a stadium for the last couple of years. The main reason why there is a secondary stadium built is like when you have larger school districts, like up the road, they share a big stadium that they compete in, like for their varsity level games. Okay. But each of those high schools typically has an auxiliary field, and that's where they play sub-varsity. That's where your band practices. That's where your drill team practices. Soccer plays there, those kinds of things. So what our committee decided to do and is basically the stadium for Lamarque is going to be an amped up auxiliary field. The thing that makes it called a stadium is because we're going to put additional seating on the visitor side and put a press box in. Otherwise, it's basically an auxiliary field. When you have two high schools and all the variety of different teams, it's very difficult to schedule not only practices but games between the two. Yeah. And so also Lamarque students, even though they're in Lamarque, which is a neighboring community to Texas City, you have to bus them. So even every home game, they are bused to the Texas City Stadium. So this would eliminate needing to bus each and every game. Students would have easy access, and then they'd be able to practice on the same field that they are playing in.
Okay. Yeah, I saw someone comment that too, that even for safety reasons, it's better for them to be able to play on the same field in which they practice because, again, for safety reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I know that there's a little bit of like tension, and it's a common misconception that Lamarque is getting all of this for free.
There's nothing free.
Right.
No, absolutely not. When Lamarque ISD was annexed into Texas City ISD in 2016, that really just expanded the Texas City ISD school tax base. So all the residents that are zoned to Texas City ISD that live in Lamarque pay the same property, or not property taxes, but the same school taxes that residents in Texas City did and do.
Okay. So not free.
Yeah.
Not free. No. In fact, the residents of the former Lamarque ISD took on debts from the last bond election we had before annexation in 2007. So they've been paying for buildings in Texas City that they didn't even get a chance to vote on in 2007 because that was prior to annexation.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
nobody's getting anything
There's
for free.
nothing free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of taxes, I've seen that the rhetoric that taxes will not increase based off of this bond.
Well, it's important to say the tax rate will not increase because we all know if you're a homeowner, chances are your property values increased. And when your property values increase, you do pay more taxes. However, the district has set the property tax, the school tax rate, and it's not going to change. In fact, the board approved a 4-cent decrease to the interest and sinking, or to the maintenance and operations side. There are two parts to a school tax rate that most people don't realize. There's the maintenance and operations, which is called the M&O side. And the M&O side pays your salaries and your utilities and all your basic things, all the supplies that go into a classroom. So all your day-to-day things that you need.
Gotcha.
And so when property values increase, then we're getting more taxes. So we were actually able to lower the M&O side of the tax rate by 4 cents. And the interest and sinking, the INS side, that's what you pay in debt. And that's why a school district has bond elections to get voter approval to take on debt to pay for capital improvements. Because like a homeowner goes to a bank to get a loan and we can't do that. We have to go out for a bond election to sell the bonds to have money so that you can use the capital improvement. So the tax rate is not going to change. And we've had all of our financial planners and everybody look through it and are saying that it should not increase through the lifespan of the bond.
Okay. Thanks for explaining, because some of that is just,
It
very
is
difficult
confusing,
to
and
understand.
I've only said it, I think, 100 times, and
Right.
so I feel like I have a good,
Right.
grasp understanding of it, but not everybody does. If I wasn't disconnected, I wouldn't realize there were two parts either.
I was unaware.
Yeah,
You were speaking about capital improvements and security, and I know that y'all just built a couple new schools here and there, and I've seen some people comment, "Whoa, why are we upgrading all the security stuff? Y'all just rebuilt these schools. Like, what's going on?"
Oh, sure. Yes, our 3 new schools that came as a result of the 2018 bond election have all the bells and whistles, including ballistic walls in the schools and things like that. And in the 28 bond election, there was $6.5 million on improvements for safety and security. So we were able, our community was so forward thinking in that we were able to really put in place things that other school communities still don't have, or they're just now starting to get to.
Right.
So we're not asking for that much money this go round, only about $1.3 million. And it's to kind of finish some things. We did bullet resistant glass on places, and now we're going to go with bulletproof on windows and things like that. More hardening of our facilities. Improving our PA system, that had been an issue in another school district in the state that suffered a tragedy in Uvalde. And so improving our PA systems so that everybody can hear the message at the same time.
Exactly. By all means, whatever it takes.
Right.
Scary world.
What are some other misconceptions that you've heard of that you'd like to clear up?
Well, we've covered I think some of the big things have been the stadium and the school tax rate. Those two, I think, are the biggest misconceptions, or the fact that the Texas City side of schools isn't getting anything, when in actuality every child in the district's going to be impacted should this
Right.
bond be approved, from safety and security, the opportunity for enhanced STEM and robotics learning at our robotics center, because that's going to be for all of our kids K through 12. The opportunity for our FFA program growing with the new ag barn. Right now, it's
How
currently,
old is that ag barn? Because
gosh, it was built in the 70s. I
yeah,
can't remember
like,
the exact year.
It's old.
Okay.
But it's old. You can see through
Right.
walls and things, and it does not provide or meet the needs for the program today. That program has grown, and we don't have enough space for animals that students would like to have. And then now that we have Lamarque, increasing that program then would allow us to be able to bring our Lamarque students in that also want to
Yes.
participate in an
Wonderful.
FFA
Right.
group.
Do you think with all of these improvements and renovations and things like that, we'll see some more teachers wanting to come to TCISD?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, new facility. People like new facilities. They like state of the art. We'll be able to offer programming that we can't. For instance, the current Lamarque High School is 51 years old. It's not set up for things for 21st century
Right.
learning. The electrical capacity can't accommodate even a welding lab at the school, and so there are certain things that we'll be able to add that we haven't been able to because of the age of the building. And Texas City High School has been, that came out of the 2007 bond election, but our fine arts programs have grown. Our CTE, which is our career technical education programs, have grown. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, we did an interest survey to all of our students, all of our secondary students. What kinds of programs are you interested in, that career-based programs? And there are programs that our kids are dying to get into that we just don't have the space for. And
Right.
so renovations on our building would allow us to expand programs such as a firefighter program, which would then benefit
Right.
both of our communities.
Yes.
EMT programs. So, last year we implemented a law enforcement program for both Texas City High School and Lamarque High School. So having amazing programs like that and facilities, to state-of-the-art facilities, then that does draw people. Having buildings that are safe,
Right.
and
Can
a
give you
teacher
peace of
knowing
mind.
that, oh my gosh, there are ballistic panels in this
Right.
classroom that I'm teaching in, and
Right.
all the windows are bulletproof. I mean, that makes a difference in feeling safe where you work.
Absolutely. Well, and as like parents, you want your kids to be in a safe place and
Absolutely.
space and not to be scared or anything like
Absolutely.
that. So by all means, do
And of
whatever
course,
you need.
exactly. And of course, you can't make any guarantees. You can just try
Right.
to equip
True.
and do the best that you
Right.
that you very can
True.
do, and try to prevent as much as you can.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
You're welcome.
And
You know
giving
what I
us
haven't
facts.
talked about? The Early Childhood Learning Center.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Oh my gosh. So the Early Childhood Learning Center is, we've got some artist renderings on our website, and they look amazing. It is totally immersive experience, and it's so critical for our 4-year-olds to get that strong foundation before they start school.
Yes.
And so the Early Childhood Learning Center is a program for our pre-K, for both our Texas City and Lamarque communities within Texas City ISD. And so they are currently in a building that was built for vocational education in the 70s. And so we've retrofitted that building, and have used it as long as we could when we went to full day pre-kindergarten. But it's just not an effective learning environment for our youngest children. And so we're hoping that should this bond pass, that building then would also draw more interest and enrollment from
Right.
both communities.
Right. Because you don't really have a lot to choose from at that age around here.
So, and it's an incredible program. In fact, we offered it up to our employees this year for them to be able to send their kids. And so 9 employees that had 4-year-olds were
Heck
able
yeah.
to start their kids. So we're hoping that then too
Yeah.
also is a draw for teachers.
Wonderful. Random. Okay, so me and my sister were on the swim team in high school when the high school was like not where it's at now, but it still had the pool, and we would go swim at Lamarque. Is there still a pool over there?
No, that pool is no longer a pool.
It's probably not been around for a while.
No, in fact, the area where the pool has been renovated for a workout
Oh, okay.
weight room
Okay.
for our athletes.
Yeah. Good to know. I was just curious.
Dated
Memories.
yourself.
I know.
And then a lot of people want to know, well, where would the new Lamarque High School be built? And so the property that the district owns is a huge piece of property. So it would be built on the same location where the current Lamarque High School is.
Okay.
And then classes would not be interrupted. So we wouldn't have to relocate students while the new one is being built. They'd still be able to attend classes in the current school until the new one is built.
And
That's good to know.
the stadium would be close by?
Stadium would be on the same property.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for answering our questions.
Yes.
I know
You're
this
welcome.
is very important for our city and Lamarque.
It is important. Wanted to also tell you that, it wasn't just administrators or school board that decided to do this. We had a community group. And in fact, this process started over 2 years ago with evaluating our facilities, having a strategic plan in place, talking to educators and teachers and administrators and trying to figure out what do we want education to look like in Texas City ISD. And everything academically has driven the outcome of what got placed on the bond. Of course, there's a lot of other things that we want to do because we have this 10-year plan. This bond really just impacts the next five years because you have to prioritize. You can't do everything. And we
Yes.
had a group of over 50 different community members, very diverse group from city employees, like Ramari served on that committee, and business leaders, teachers. We had students on the group, parents, and evaluating what needed to be prioritized this time, and then what needed to be go for the next one. So.
Right. And something that I always see is I'm not necessarily from this community, but I'm super involved in this community, and sometimes people still have that divide of Texas City, Lamarque, but this is one school district, and what helps one kid on one side is also going to help kids on the other because again we're one school district.
Right.
We are one school district, and a lot of people, like you said, still of course feel passionately about making sure Texas City kids get what they need, but it's our responsibility to make sure that all kids get what they need.
Exactly.
And programming has driven these decisions so that we have equitable education for our students across the board.
Absolutely.
And it's only going to better our community.
That's what we
So
think too. And of course,
we need it.
the better your schools are and the better your community is, and it impacts everybody as a whole.
100%.
Well, thank you so much for coming
You're
and giving
welcome.
us the facts and helping
Rundown.
squash some of those rumors or misconceptions that people may have.
Yes. Oh, you're very welcome. I appreciate the opportunity to talk. And people can visit our website. We have a very comprehensive website on our district page. It's www.tcisd.org/bond22. Okay. And there's a whole list of frequently asked questions, and there are photos, and there's samples to what the ballot language is going to look like. And
Wonderful.
one more thing
Yeah.
I
Yes.
remembered. Okay, so in I can't remember if it was 2019 or 2020, but the state implemented a new law where we are required to put on the bond ballot, the language has to say this is a tax increase. And so that is going to confuse people when they go to the ballot. So we put that out on our website. We talk about that when we talk to groups and when we're having these public meetings, that it is true, absolutely true. The school tax rate is not going to increase. We've even asked, can we say,
Right.
add that to that part?
Right.
And they're like, no, you cannot change it. It has to say that this is a tax increase. because in actuality, if your property taxes went up, your school taxes do go up. But the school district cannot control the property taxes. We don't set the values. We can only set the tax rate. And so remember, our board voted to decrease the M&O side and will not be increasing the tax rate for this. So whether it passes or not, the tax rate that we have on the website, it's not going to be higher than that.
And fun fact, so Texas City we just had our commission approve our budget, and we had to include that same language because although our tax rate didn't change, your property taxes could increase. And so,
right.
Yeah.
Man.
Fun fact.
Learning all kinds of stuff today.
Yeah. It was confusing because we also had to have that language, on our agenda, and we had to have our finance director thoroughly explain it, not only in a public hearing, but to our city commission. And so, yeah. It's confusing, but it makes sense once you come and you hear and you listen. So can you tell us one more time where these public hearings are going to be?
Yes. So October the 10th, we'll be at the Nessler Center in the captain's room. And so people can come in here and ask whatever questions they have. We'll answer, everything. And then also October the 24th at the city of Lamarque. So both of those meetings at 6 o'clock. And then in the meantime, they can visit our website. We've got a video. So we made a video, and it's up on our website. So they can, if they don't want to read all the information, they can watch the video and listen to it. And so we're just, and if there's questions that people have over and over again that we don't have on our FAQs, we'll add it. So.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying everything.
Oh,
being
you're welcome.
so transparent.
Oh, of course.
So thank you again to Miss Melissa Tortorici, who is the Communications Director for TCISD. Thank you to the City of Texas City for sponsoring this podcast. You can catch us every Wednesday on the city's Facebook page, website, YouTube, and anywhere podcasts are streamed. If there's a small business, an entrepreneur, or someone doing amazing work in Texas City that you would like for us to speak to, please drop them in the comments below. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.